Hello, everybody, and welcome to race number 7 of 36 here in Season 1 NASCAR Walmart Cup Series. Hi, I'm the voice of NASCAR Walmart Cup Series, Levi McIntyre, aka Thrash Maniac 99, here to welcome you to the Joe Gibbs International Raceway. This is a huge racetrack, 7 miles around, and this is a plate track, I believe. I've never tested this track before, but I decided to replace California with this race because this is an experimental race. So actually, the schedule for season 1 got shook up quite a bit today. There's going to be some new races and other tracks we're going to be going to towards the end of the season, most notably in the Chase. But we are here for the running of the Joe Gibbs 400 here at JGR. Now, this track, like I said, I believe this is a restrictor plate track, but it's a 7-mile track, so this is one of the biggest tracks we're going to be going to on the schedule. The other one being Thornton, which will be a race in the Chase, and when we get to that race, we'll go in depth about Thornton. But we're going to take you to the starting lineup for this race here at Joe Gibbs International Raceway. Nighttime racing here, so this is going to be one crazy event. Starting on the pole is going to be the 39 of Cody Lamas. Second is going to be our winner from last week at Martinsville, Chris Washer. Now, Chris Washer is the only two-time winner we have had all season so far. So he's pretty much a lock for the chase when we get down to crunch time for the chase for the championship. With those two wins, he's pretty much locked himself a spot in the chase. Starting third is going to be the 29 of Danny Wells. Now this guy has been improving the last couple of races. After the first few races having to retire due to unfortunate circumstances, but the last two races, top 10 in both, finished third at Bristol, 10th last week at Martinsville. Let's see if he can possibly get himself a win and get himself a potential spot in the chase. Starting next to him is going to be the 16 of Charles Jackson. Now, this guy's had an up and down season so far. Started off the season after the first race really good, finishing 10th in the Daytona 500. Ever since then, he's had very poor finishes. Except for Bristol, he finished 10th at Bristol, but last week he had a poor run. But let's see if he could step it up and pick himself up a win. Starting 5th in the top 5 is going to be the 48 of Austin LaPlante. Starting next to him will be Noah Hart. 7th is going to be the points leader Charlie Rodriguez. Now, Charlie Rodriguez, minus the run he had back at Bristol, this guy has finished top 10 every single race so far. And he's got a points lead of about, he's leading the points by 6 points over second place Eric Burton, and we'll get to him here in just a minute. Starting next to Rodriguez will be the 88 of Cole Daly. 9th is going to be Barney Taylor, wrong camera. And then rounding out the top 10 is going to be the 21 of Chris Oliver. 11th is going to be Nick Smith, 12th Austin Weiner, 13th Cody Hagan, 14th Fred Schaefer, 15th Dylan Young, 16th Cameron Bailey, 17th Kyle Matthews, 18th Ian Siegel, 19th Matt McIntyre. Rounding out the top 20 will be Tommy Mooney. Hold on just a second. Had to take another drink of water there. 21st is going to be the 36 of Daniel Day. 22nd will be Sonny Hammond. 23rd is going to be Trent Dunham. 24th, David Rivera. 25th is Carlos Rodriguez. 26th, Rue McIntyre. This is the highest start he's had all season long. Let's see. 27th is the 38 of Nathan Hudson. 28th is Henry Nova. 29th is Ibrahim, and rounding out the top 30 is second place in points to 55 of Eric Burton. Now, Eric Burton He's been the toughest competitor by far against Charlie Rodriguez, but he hasn't picked himself up a win. Maybe tonight will be his night. Even though he's starting 30th, he might prevail and get himself a win. 31st is going to be Zachary Fitzwater. 32nd will be Dylan Thero. And then look at this row. We got an all Burger King Racing row here. 33rd will be Chris Nelson. 34th will be Jordan Culp. 35th, Ian Dutta. 36th, Jessica Shelton. 37th, Seth Cole. 38th, Joshua Michaels. 39th, Chris Dollarton. Rounding out the top 40 will be Chris Michaels. And then in the last row, we've got Michael Norman, 41st, and Henrietta Fitzwater starting in last place here at Joe Gibbs International Raceway. But we are now going to be going green flag racing once they come around to the start-finish line. Now this is going to be a first for NASCAR Walmart Cup Series to see this kind of a race go down at a big track like Joe Gibbs International Raceway, 7 miles around. So we'll see how the racing is going to be here at this particular track. And we're going to test out the spectator camera angle here. As you can see, they're coming down towards Pit Road. And just look at how big this place is. There you see the Florida State Seminoles logo right there in the stands. And it looks like they're going to be coming around to the green flag. And Cody Lamas is going to lead the way. Here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. I guess we must have passed the finish line, so I was late on that. But Cody Lamas is going to have the lead, so we're going to see a lot of racing, a lot of good racing here with like 4 wide, even 5 wide. And I already saw 4 wide going on back there. Back in the rear of the field, they're 4 wide back there. But now Cody Lamas, he's under attack from the 24 of Chris Washer, as he is making a big challenge for the lead. And already, look at the speed they're going. They're going nearly 250 miles an hour at this place. How incredible is that? That is just absolutely impressive. And look at this. Look at this racing we've got already going. They're 4 wide, almost 5 wide. Oh, and we got a big one! Oh my God, a huge crash! I think Chris Washer got away. But oh my God, and oh, I see Austin Weiner, and they're still wrecking back there. I believe Charlie Rodriguez was in that. Trying to look back here, he was involved. Cody Lamas involved. I see Jordan Culp, I believe he got through. Carlos Rodriguez, Ibrahim. I think Austin LaPlante got away. I'm not sure. We'll have to see the front of his car. Although I can't really see because of the camera. Yeah, he's got a buck on the hood. He was involved. I think I saw Trent Dunham had some damage. Seth Cole was involved. David Rivera, and there's Charlie Rodriguez, Carlos Rodriguez, Cody Lamas, Cole Daly, Chris Nelson, and the caution flag will be out. And Chris Washer is going to have the lead here at Joe Gibbs International Raceway. But man, that was a massive crash. And look at what's left of the field, it looks like. As far as cars who got through unscathed, I believe they're still towards the back of the track trying to catch up. But man, oh man, that was a huge pile up. There you see some of the drivers who were having damage, got damaged, but are still able to continue. But man, that was a massive mess. And Chris Washer's still going to hold the lead. But we're going to take you to a replay to try to find out what brought out the caution for the first time today, or tonight, here at Joe Gibbs International Raceway. Well, here's a look at what happened. They were 4 wide going for second, and it looked like Cole Daly came down into Austin LaPlante. Oh my God, Danny Wells went up into the catch fence. Unbelievable. And look at all the cars just piling in right there. Rue McIntyre, I think. Wow, that was an incredible save. Oh, and I think that's Eric Burden. Yeah, Eric Burden went upside down after that crash, and then got hit again by Chris Dollarton. I think Jessica Shelton got through. Ian Dutta looks like he's fine. Zachary Fitzwater, Dylan Thero, Charles Jackson, Chris Michaels. But man, that was a massive, massive crash as far as the amount of cars. And Cody Lamas, I think he got stuck, but then he took that hit from Chris Nelson, and it got him rolling. And as we're looking at Charlie Rodriguez, he got involved in that crash, but he somehow managed to continue on after that. We're going to take a look at this one more time. Yeah, Charlie Rodriguez was 4 wide going for the lead right there. Underneath Cody Lamas, Chris Washer. Actually, it looks like almost 5 wide, almost. With Charlie Rodriguez, Cody Lamas, Austin LaPlante, Chris Washer, and Danny Wells. I figured something like this was going to go down because this is a fast track. And if you look up here where the mouse is, 248 miles an hour is how fast these cars are going. So it's no wonder why some cars got airborne from a crash like this. So let's take a look. Watch the 48 and the 88 right here. Yeah, Cole Daly came down into Austin LaPlante, and that's what got that crash going. And look at Danny Wells up into the catch fence. We're actually going to go to the 29. He's wall riding that wall. He's doing a Martin Truex right there. Oh, and there you see on the left side of your screen, Eric Burden. He hit that wall a ton, and that's what got him up and flipping. Let's watch Danny Wells here, because he takes a hell of a ride up against the catch fence and the outside wall. Right there, he got pushed up there by Cole Daly. He's up into the catch fence on his side, and then he's on top of the wall riding that wall. Oh, and there you see Eric Burden actually hit Charlie Rodriguez. That was kind of a funny scenario right there. Let's check the angle on our TV1 camera, see how that looked like. I got a feeling this is going to be pretty crazy. Well, we see a little tree getting in the way towards the end of the crash, but look at this hit. Hard hit in that outside wall, up in the air, up into the catch fence, and then ends up on top of the wall, riding that wall. But he came back down on his wheels, and he's still continuing, I believe. I don't know, we'll have to keep an eye out for the 29. As you see, the bushes and the trees are blocking the cameras. And there he is, he's still going. Other than that, he didn't have too much damage, except just big hits right into the side of the car. But the front end's still intact. So I believe he's going to be able to continue the race. Now we need to go to the 55 of Eric Burton, because he's going to take a wild, wild ride. Just keep an eye out for that 55. As you see, the wreck happens in front of him. Oh, Charles Jackson actually did get a piece of that. And he was getting shoved there by the 6 of David Rivera, it looks like. And he gets turned down. I can't tell who that is because of this camera blockage. But does he already go up in the air at the time? Yeah, he already flipped, so he missed that flip. So we're going to have to go back to the helicopter camera. Watch the 55. I believe he, let's see what happened. He almost got through, and Charlie Rodriguez came up in front of him, and then look. Went up in the air when he got down to the apron, and then when he hit the wall, it just got him upside down, back down. And then right there, that hit from Chris Dollarton into the driver's side door got him up in the air again. But we're actually going to do 5 onboards, and we're going to go on board with Charlie Rodriguez, Eric Burton, Danny Wells, Cody Lamas, and Cole Daly. And Eric Burton had to teleport to pit road. I think he might be out of the race, so that's a tough break for Eric Burton. But we're going to go to some onboards, like I said, with Eric Burton, Danny Wells, Charlie Rodriguez, Cody Lamas, and Cole Daly. On board with the 55 of Eric Burton, who is not going to forget this race. Watch this. Unbelievable. I think Eric Burton might continue, it's just that he got caught on that portion of the track between the apron and the track, so he couldn't get refired. But yeah. On board with the 39 of Cody Lamas. Oh, Chris Washer actually did get a piece of that. And there you see, wow, there you saw Eric Burton right there, flipping right there after all that. Cody Lamas, I think anytime that car was around, everybody just piled in right there. So that was one of the biggest crashes I think I've ever seen. And as he drove away, and now he's going through the big tunnel here at Joe Gibbs. On board with Cole Daly, who started this wreck. Man, and he clipped that 21 of Chris Oliver, and that's what got him involved. There you see Eric Burton flipping right in front of him right there and getting pounded. But Cole Daly, actually, he's going to be able to continue. He's still driving. And as is everybody else going through the tunnel. On board with the 29 of Danny Wells. This is going to be wild. Up into the catch fence and riding the wall. Oh, he did get some front end damage. He hit the 17 of Sonny Hammond trying to get out of there. And look at this. He got through. Oh, there's Jessica Shelton. I was going to go to the rear end camera to see everybody behind him. But yeah, that was a look at all the onboards, people. Well, we were getting ready to go green flag racing next time by. And everybody came down pit road. Of course, a lot of people had to come down the pit road to get some fuel as well as repair damage as far as any cars who are involved. But we have a big shakeup because now Nick Smith is the leader of the race. Then it's Barney Taylor second, Noah Hart third, Cody Hagan fourth, and Daniel Day rounding out the top 5. Then it's Henry Nova, Nathan Hudson, Jessica Shelton, Chris Dollarton, and Ian Dutta, the top 10. Then it's Zachary Fitzwater, Joshua Michaels. Chris Washer fell back to 13th after pit strategy gone down. Then Chris Michaels, Dylan Young, Rue McIntyre, Jordan Culp, Sonny Hammond, Henrietta Fitzwater, and Austin Weiner, the top 20. Then it's Dylan Thero, Ibrahim, Fred Schaefer, David Rivera, and Michael Norman. Those are the drivers who are left on the racetrack. I believe, let's go to 21 of Chris Oliver. Yeah, he's retired, so everybody else who is a lap down or more are actually out of the race. Tough break for all those guys. So the drivers who are officially out of the race are as followed: Cameron Bailey, Chris Oliver, Charles Jackson, Danny Wells, Tommy Mooney, Matt McIntyre, Austin LaPlante. Charlie Rodriguez is going to get his first DNF of the season. Then Cody Lamas, Trent Dunham, Seth Cole, Cole Daly, Ian Siegel, Kyle Matthews, Carlos Rodriguez, Eric Burton, and Jordan Culp. Those are the list of drivers who are out of the race. Or I believe so. Yep, they are out of the race because I don't see any car coming up through the field who was a lap down or more. So yeah, we only have 25 cars left on the racetrack. So that was a 17. Actually, I think it was more cars because there are still some cars out there who have damage but still are able to keep it going. So I'm going to estimate about 20 cars were involved in that crash, which is a little more than half the field. So that will go down in the history books of NASCAR Walmart Cup Series as being the biggest crash as far as the amount of cars involved we have had by far. But yes, you can see with the best laps these drivers run. They run under 2 minutes around this track because this is probably the fastest track in the schedule. And like I said, the schedules do change quite often as far as experimentation with some tracks. Next season, the schedule, we're going to have a lot more newer tracks. Tracks such as Derek Motodome, Champs-Élysées, and stuff like that. Or tracks like that, I should say. And I think we're going to go to the helicopter camera for a majority of the race because this gives us a great angle as to who is leading and who isn't and stuff. Even though it is kind of annoying to hear the helicopter sound in the background, some of the camera angles here at this track aren't necessarily all that great, so I think after this race we probably won't be going back to Joe Gibbs racing. Then again, we might, because this is some crazy racing, so I think we might come back, but I just gotta test the waters with these camera angles so we can get some clear shots of some good racing. And here's a spectator camera. This is actually not that bad of a camera angle, but then it's like we won't be able to tell who is leading and whatever else. But for the meantime, we're going to go back to the TV1 camera. Or we'll try TV2 because this does... We'll see how TV2 will work. But yeah, Nick Smith will take the restart here. And here we go. We're going back racing now. And there they go past the stripe, and they're already gaining huge speed. And they're already up to 200 miles an hour, so that's astonishing. And we are 6 laps to go here at this particular race. I do believe these drivers may have to come down pit road one more time, because I think the fuel window's only 3-4 laps. So I do see these drivers actually coming down pit road one more time before this race is over. And they're already up to almost to the maximum speed of 250 miles an hour. And Noah Hart's going to push Nick Smith more to keep the lead. Let's go up here to see if anybody was wrecked or anything. No, they're still intact going. As we only have 25 cars left on the track, and Nick Smith still has the lead. And I see Daniel Day is actually going to 4th place. He is 4th, and now he's going to challenge for 3rd underneath the 15 of Barney Taylor. We'll just have to go to the helicopter camera, even though it's loud, but it's the best thing to work with. As you see, and Noah Hart's going to dive down to the inside to try to take the lead from Nick Smith. So this is interesting. But Barney Taylor's going to... I thought he would push his teammate Noah Hart to get him up to the lead, but he's going to stick behind the 20 of Nick Smith. And Nick Smith will lead that lap. And now it's 5 laps to go here at Joe Gibbs. As you see, this is the lead pack we have. We have Nick Smith, Noah Hart, Barney Taylor, Daniel Day, Henry Nova, Cody Hagan, Ian Dutta, Jessica Shelton. And now we got a 3-wide battle for second between Daniel Day, Barney Taylor, and Noah Hart. But look who's coming, sneaking his way into the pack. The 38 of Nathan Hudson. And there you see Chris Washer and Chris Dollarton are actually somewhat working together. Let's check the 34. He's still up to speed, so he's still going. Or that could be from just getting pushed by the 24, but I think he is. Yeah, he is still up to speed. So, let's take a look back here. We got a huge gap right here to 12th place Rue McIntyre, then Joshua Michaels, Austin Weiner, Zachary Fitzwater, Chris Michaels, Jordan Kolb. Actually, he's meant to say Chris Nelson, who's dead last, not Jordan Kolb. Dylan Young, then Ibrahim, Dylan Thero, David Rivera, Michael Norman, Henrietta Fitzwater, Sonny Hammond, and Fred Schaefer. They're still on track, and now look at this pack. It's starting to grow, and I see Nathan Hudson's in this hunt. So now we've got a 9-car pack battling for the lead, and I think Noah Hart, let's keep an eye out on Noah Hart here, because he might try to take the lead from Nick Smith. Let's see if he can lead this lap, and he does. He leads lap 7. 4 laps to go. Man, we're seeing some good racing up here between this pack. And 4 wide back there, I believe that is for the 6th position. Ian Dutta, Barney Taylor. Now it's settled out to 3 wide between Barney Taylor, Daniel Day, and Ian Dutta. Now Chris Washer slowly trying to get his way back up into the front. And look at Nathan Hudson. He's going to try to take the lead. And now look at who's coming down to 3rd with a huge freight train behind him, Henry Nova. We may see a driver who could win a race who hasn't had the best luck. And Henry Nova is going to get the lead. Cody Hagan going to go to 2nd thanks to this great pushing going on between those two. And now Henry Nova goes up high, and now Cody Hagan's going to try to go to the lead. But here comes Ian Dutta to the bottom. 4 wide right there for 4th place between Noah Hart, Nathan Hudson, Barney Taylor, and Chris Washer. Almost went 5 wide right there. That was a close call. Jessica Shelton inching her way up into the picture. Nick Smith has fallen back to near the rear of the pack. And they're still 4 wide. And I'm surprised they've actually kept it together. Oh, be careful, Barney. He's so close up next to Nathan Hudson, Cody Hagan. Now they settle it out. They just can't lean on each other when they're 4 wide. Otherwise, crashes will ensue. And Ian Dutta led that lap. But now he's under pressure from Barney Taylor and Chris Washer. Chris Washer's coming back to try to take the lead back. Man, we're seeing some great racing up here between this pack. Oh man, they almost made contact between Jessica Shelton and Nathan Hudson. Don't lean on each other. Oh man. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this. We may have another crash. But get off her, Nathan, get off her. Man, they are all leaning on each other. I'm starting to get worried that we might see a crash. And there it is! Like I said, oh my god, Chris Washer and Daniel Day, holy crap! I knew that was going to happen. Nick Smith got involved. Chris Washer took a hell of a ride, as too did Daniel Day. And Barney Taylor is going to get the lead after all that. I think the race might be over. I don't know if we can go back green after this, but oh my goodness. We're going to wait to see what's going to happen here. Are they going to throw a caution out, though, is the question. We're going back to the camera. Yeah, they are under caution, so the caution is officially out. And I think the race will end up being over, because I'm not sure we're going to be able to get back to green. If we do, by a miracle, then it'll have to be a 1-lap shootout. But right now, the guy sitting in the catbird seat is Barney Taylor. And look who's gotten up there to 2nd. Jessica Shelton. Then we got Noah Hart 3rd. Rue McIntyre, look, where did he come from? He's up to 4th. Henry Nova, who did have the lead, he's 5th. Chris Dollarton 6th, Austin Weiner 7th, Joshua Michaels, Cody Hagan, Dylan Young. And then Jordan Kolb, Zachary Fitzwater, Chris Michaels, David Rivera, Ibrahim, Dylan Thero, Henrietta Fitzwater, Michael Norman, Nathan Hudson, Sonny Hammond, Ian Dutta, who was up there at the front of the field. Fred Schaefer, I think he lost a draft, and he couldn't get back up there. Nick Smith on pit road, Daniel Day, and Chris Washer's actually still going, or actually he's on pit road. But man, that was one of the most crazy minimal car incidents I think I've ever seen. Of seeing races here at in the NR 2003, 2 cars went on wild tumbles, and we're actually going to go take a look at a replay to see what brought out the caution for the second time tonight here at Joe Gibbs. Well, here's a look at what happened. I knew that when they were leaning on each other that would cause something to happen. And, hold on, we'll take a look at that one more time. I believe we had 2 different incidents right here. We're going to go super slow-mo. There you see contact between 20 of Nick Smith, Jessica Sheldon, and Nathan Hudson. They're all leaning on each other right there. And I think the contact, it's going to start right around there with Chris Washer and Daniel Day, and then Jessica Sheldon and Nathan Hudson. And they go up in the Ian Dutta, and then both Chris Washer and Daniel Day went down there in that portion of the racetrack where it gets you up in the air, and they both went tumbling. And then Nick Smith hits Chris Washer, and Daniel Day is going to continue to tumble. And Chris Washer still is on top of Nick Smith, and Daniel Day still upside down. Hits the wall right there, and then his car goes up into the catch fence, and Chris Washer's still sideways up in the air. And look at Daniel Day. I believe he's going to continue to tumble. And yeah, he is. Let's see if he lands on his wheels or not. He does. See Chris Washer, he got back on his wheels and going. No, Daniel Day's actually still going to tumble. Still sliding on his roof upside down. There's Ian Dutta right there who's still spinning around. Daniel Day is just still upside down taking a crazy ride. I think he might tumble one more time, and the car could end up back on its wheels, although let's see. No, he's still upside down. I think he couldn't keep the car going. Or, yeah, I see smoke coming out of that car, so I think, oh, he does hit the wall, and then he's going to come back down on all 4 wheels. Or no, he's back upside down again. Man, he took a wild tumble, and now he's going to go on his side. Is he going to land on his wheels this time? He does. So after all that, that was like one of the longest rides I've seen anybody in racing ever take. That was intense. So let's watch this one more time. In slow-mo, but not quite as slow. I knew that when Jessica Sheldon and Nathan Hudson were leaning on each other, something was bound to happen. And then Chris Washer, I think he comes down a little bit on Daniel Day, goes back up, and then, let's see. It's really hard to tell, like, where the initial contact really began. Let's go super slow-mo. Oh, it looked like, yeah, I was kind of right earlier, that Daniel Day comes up. Well, let's see. No, Jessica Sheldon actually started it. Jessica Sheldon actually came down into the right rear quarter panel of Daniel Day, and that's what got him up into Chris Washer. And when Daniel Day was going up, that got Jessica Sheldon going to the other side, and that's how she collects Nathan Hudson. But Jessica Sheldon actually got away with that. But Jessica Sheldon was the star. Let's go to her perspective. Okay. Super slow-mo one more time. Yeah, she's coming down to get to Nick Smith, and she gets into that quarter panel with Daniel Day, and he goes up into Chris Washer, and I got a hiccup for a second. And then Jessica Shelton went up into Nathan Hudson, and that's how Nathan Hudson gets involved. I believe this crash, well, let's take a look back here to Chris Dollarton. Wow, he barely missed that 36 of Daniel Day as Daniel Day was coming up. Cody Hagan actually got a little piece of it. Let's see. Yeah, he got a little piece when Nathan Hudson came back up the track. Just a little bump right there, and then... yeah, I think that was it. I think Cody Hagan, we can't really... yeah, and then a little side swipe right there on Nathan Hudson. So let's take a look here one more time. So let's count how many cars were involved in this. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars get involved in this. So this wasn't nearly as big, but as far as like craziness, with Chris Washer and Daniel Day taking their wild, insane rides, as well as Nick Smith as well, that's what made this crash one of the craziest wrecks I've ever seen. We're actually going to go to we're going to go to 3 onboards. One with Daniel Day, one with Chris Washer, and one with Jessica Shelton. Here we are on board with Chris Washer, who was looking to go for his 3rd win of the year. Wow, he only tumbles once and he keeps the car going straight. But he had to come down the pit road to repair. On board with Daniel Day, this is going to be a wild ride. Man, he tumbled over 6 times. It was like that ride was never going to end, and then it finally ended and he had to teleport to pit road. Our last onboard is going to be with Jessica Shelton. There you see the contact. There you saw the contact right there between Daniel Day and Jessica Shelton. Well, we are on the last lap, so these drivers will not be able to go back to green flag racing. So it's a shame for some of these guys back here who wanted to get a chance to win, but Barney Taylor is looking to possibly, he's going to win the race, but let's check. We're going to stay with him to make sure that nobody runs out of fuel, because nobody came down to pit road after the first caution came out, and I don't know how the fuel window is, so we need to stay up here for as precautionary purposes. But man, that was a tough break for some of those guys who got involved in that second crash. Like Chris Washer, he was en route to possibly getting his 3rd win of the season, 2nd in a row. That would have been astonishing for him. But it didn't happen that way, so that was a tough break for him. Daniel Day was another car who had a possible shot of winning. He could have surprised everybody right there to win that race. Nathan Hudson, same thing for him. But let's take a look at the updated drivers who are out of the race now. Chris Washer's still on track, so he somehow keeps it going. But Daniel Day and Nick Smith were the only ones who were in that wreck are out of the race as additional cars. So only 23 cars managed to finish the race. So, man, it's a shame we only had pretty much half the field left on the racetrack. But we saw some great racing up in the front of the pack with Barney Taylor, Jessica Shelton, among others. Great racing, so I say we will go back to this track. It's just the only problem with these drivers, they cannot be leaning against each other when it's 4 wide, even 5 wide, because once they lean on each other, big one ensues. And also some great draft racing as well. Like we saw Henry Nova get up to the front by getting a huge push from the 99 of Cody Hagan, and he got to the lead and he led for a bit, but he didn't lead the lap. But still, and there you see Henry Nova, he's got damage from that crash and he's still up there in the 5th spot. But let's see if these drivers are going to come down pit, if they have to come down pit road or not. So if they do come down pit road, then the race is going to be pretty much determined by who's going to get to the finish line first on pit road. And when that happens, it's going to be pretty crazy to try to figure out who won the race or not. But let's double check. We're actually going to go up here to the pace car for a few to check, see whenever he pulls down pit road and see if anybody else is coming down with the pace car. And as you can see, we're behind something. Let's go to the helicopter camera for the rest of this time. I believe they're heading almost towards pit road. And we're just double checking to make sure if they can still make it on gas, because they didn't pit and they haven't pitted in a long time. So far, they all seem to be running. Some seem to be running all right. No, I don't think anybody's flapping their tanks at any time. And you can see they're almost to pit road, I believe. Let's just keep an eye out here for this, because you never know, things may happen out of nowhere, and the race can be altered when some crazy, like, running out of fuel could happen. And I apologize, that's my phone going off in the background. Nobody's coming down pit road, so it's going to be official. And now they're coming to the stripe, I believe. Let's just keep an eye out. Yeah, they are. So Barney Taylor is going to win the Joe Gibbs 400, or the Joe Gibbs 500 here at Joe Gibbs International Raceway. Man, after pretty much a race of mayhem, he wins this race. Wow. After running so well recently in the past few races, finishing second 2 weeks in a row, at one point, he's going to finally get that win, and now he might get himself a spot in the chase. Alright, so since the laps are now officially completed, we can now take a look at the official finishing results here at Joe Gibbs International Raceway. Barney Taylor, congratulations to him. He's going to walk away as the winner here at this pretty big, fun restrictor plate track. Jessica Sheldon, great run of second for her. She's starting to inch her way into a potential winning car. She is a potential winning car. She just needs to get that win, but I don't think many guys, I think Chris Washer and Daniel Day particularly, aren't going to be happy with Jessica Sheldon after she started that second incident. Third is going to be Noah Hart. Great run for him. And look at the guy who's in fourth. Rue McIntyre. Started in 26, avoided 2 crashes, and he somehow got up ahead of everybody. He gets 4th place. Great run for him. And then Henry Nova, after getting in that second crash, he kept it going, and he's gonna get 5th place. Great run for him. And look at the guy who's in 6th. Chris Dollarton was involved in that first caution and I think he hit Charlie Rodriguez, and he got a buckle on the front end. He somehow was still up to speed, and he's going to finish in 6th place. Great run for him. Austin Weiner gets 7th. Great run for him after that miserable finish he had last week at Martinsville. He's going to come away with a top 10. Joshua Michaels, who's near the back in the points and near the 30s and 40s in points, he's going to get a top 10. Great run for him. Cody Hagan gets 9th. Great run for him. And Dylan Young is going to finish the top 10. Great run for him. Jordan Kolb, this has been his best finish since finishing second in the Daytona 500. Great run of 11 for him. Zachary Fitzwater gets 12th, and Chris Michaels gets his highest finish of the season in 13th. Great run for him. David Rivera 14th. Ibrahim 15th, and then it's Dylan Thero, Henrietta Fitzwater, Michael Norman, Nathan Hudson, and Sonny Hammond rounds out the top 20. And then the rest of the field who was on the lead lap were Ian Dutta and Fred Schaefer, and I guess Chris Washer actually did retire from the race. So everybody else was officially retired from the race, and they were Chris Washer, Nick Smith, Daniel Day, Cameron Bailey, Chris Oliver, Charles Jackson, Danny Wells, Tommy Mooney, Matt McIntyre, Austin LaPlante, Charlie Rodriguez, Cody Lamas, Trent Dunham, Seth Cole, Cole Daly, Ian Siegel, Kyle Matthews, Carlos Rodriguez, Eric Burton, and Chris Nelson. So with how the points are, when Charlie Rodriguez came into this race 6 points ahead of Eric Burton, the closest driver to them was Chris Washer, and if I'm correct, Chris Washer I think came in 20 or 25 points behind Charlie Rodriguez, but Jessica Sheldon was only 2 points behind Chris Washer, and she got second. Chris Washer got 23rd. So she's obviously going to be surpassing Chris Washer in the points. And she came into this race, I believe, 27 points behind Charlie Rodriguez. She finishes second. Charlie Rodriguez got 33rd. So you take that into consideration. So she finishes 21 spots ahead of Charlie Rodriguez. She came into this race, 31 spots ahead of Charlie Rodriguez. She came into this race, I believe, 27 points behind. Then, folks, Jessica Sheldon's going to come out of this race as the new points leader. So the first time we've had a different driver lead the points all season long, and I believe it's going to be Jessica Sheldon, but you'll see the points once this video concludes. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for tuning in to the Joe Gibbs 500 at JGIR race track. Sorry, I can't even talk. But congratulations to Barney Taylor for getting his first win of the season. Next stop, I believe, is going to be Phoenix. Yes, it is Phoenix. So we'll be running the Subway Fresh Fit 500 next race at Phoenix. But until then, I'm Levi McIntyre saying so long, everybody. And coming up on this video is the results again and the point standings.